Welcome back, coin master collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters, to another exciting and jaw-dropping episode on your favorite channel. Today, we are diving deep into the world of one of the most iconic coins in American history, the legendary 1973 Roosevelt one dime. Yes, you heard that right. A small, silver-colored coin that most people overlook every day. But this is not just any dime. This little coin, with the powerful words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" stamped on its face, could be hiding a secret that might just change your life. Because believe it or not, one of these dimes has been valued at a jaw-dropping $92,000 in today's market. That's right, $92,000 for a single 10-cent piece. So don't blink, because we are about to uncover the mysterious history, powerful symbolism, and unbelievable value of the 1973 Roosevelt dime. Let's start by painting the picture. The year is 1973. The United States is going through a time of change. The Vietnam War is nearing its end, the Watergate scandal is shaking the White House, and Americans are looking for strength, unity, and leadership. And on every dime minted in that year, one man's face reminded them of hope, courage, and service: Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Known for leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II, Roosevelt was not just a president. He was a symbol of resilience and recovery. That's why, shortly after his death in 1945, the United States Mint chose to honor him by placing his image on the 10-cent coin, replacing the earlier Mercury design. And ever since 1946, the Roosevelt dime has remained one of the most widely circulated coins in American history. But in 1973, something special happened. Millions of these dimes were struck at various mint locations, including the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco Mint. But only a handful of those coins, especially those that were struck in perfect condition, with no errors, no scratches, and flawless details, have become incredibly valuable to collectors. And among them, there are some rare varieties and error coins that can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. We're talking about coins that went unnoticed in circulation for decades, only to suddenly make headlines for being worth more than a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. Now you might be wondering, what makes the 1973 Roosevelt dime so special? After all, it's just a 10-cent coin, right? Wrong. This dime is a piece of living history. It was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning and experimenting with striking quality and technique. Some of these coins were accidentally struck on silver planchets, despite silver being removed from general circulation dimes back in 1965. That means a few rare 1973 dimes might actually contain silver, which is an automatic boost in value. But even those struck on the regular copper-nickel-clad planchets have the potential to be worth a fortune if they have unique features. Some of the most valuable 1973 Roosevelt dimes include those with off-center strikes, double-die obverse errors, full-band strikes, and proof-like qualities. A full-band designation, for example, refers to the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side of the coin being fully struck and visible. This small detail is extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for it, sometimes thousands of dollars for that tiny feature alone. And then there's the condition. A dime that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, can sell for unbelievable prices. Recently, a 1973 Roosevelt dime graded MS-68 with full bands was auctioned off for over $92,000. That's right, someone out there found a coin that was once worth 10 cents and turned it into a life-changing treasure. Imagine finding a dime in your pocket change, flipping it over, and realizing you might be holding a mini jackpot. It has happened before, and it could happen again. And the best part? Most people have no idea. These coins are still out there. In old jars, in drawers, in inherited coin collections, and yes, even in circulation. That's why you need to check every single dime you come across. because the next one could be worth more than your car. But the story doesn't end there. The 1973 Roosevelt dime is also a symbol of America's enduring spirit. With the word liberty boldly stamped above Roosevelt's head, and in God we trust to the left, this coin carries with it the values that define the United States. Freedom, faith, perseverance, and legacy, all packed into one tiny, shiny piece of metal. And let's talk about the torch, oak branch, and olive branch on the reverse side of the coin. These elements aren't just decorative, they are deeply symbolic. The torch represents freedom, the olive branch stands for peace, and the oak branch signifies strength and independence. Combined, they show the balance America strives for, a nation that fights for liberty, but always seeks peace, grounded in its unwavering strength. The designer of this beautiful coin, John R. Sinek, was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint and left behind a legacy that continues to shine through every Roosevelt dime in circulation. While his initials JS can be found near the base of Roosevelt's neck, many people for years thought the initials had some secret meaning, even associating them with Soviet symbolism during the Cold War era. But in truth, those two letters honor a master engraver whose vision still touches our lives today. Collectors and investors alike continue to hunt for these dimes, not just for their monetary value, but for their historical significance. The numismatic world is full of surprises, and sometimes the most valuable coin isn't gold or silver, it's the humble dime you never expected. So what should you be looking for? Start by checking the date, 1973. Then, inspect the mint mark. Dimes from the Denver and San Francisco mints often carry more value, especially if they have proof qualities or unique errors. Look closely at the torch bands. Are they full and sharp? That's a good sign. Check for doubling in the text or the date, and always look for off-center strikes or any unusual markings. And of course, the coin's overall condition is key. A worn dime might only be worth face value, but a gem-quality coin with brilliant luster and no blemishes could be worth tens of thousands. And here's the best part, you don't need to be a millionaire or a seasoned collector to find one of these treasures. All it takes is curiosity, attention to detail, and a little bit of luck. You can start today by going through your loose change, checking old coin rolls, or visiting a local flea market. You never know what hidden gems are waiting to be discovered. And while we're talking about money, let's put that $92,000 value in perspective. That's enough to buy a brand new luxury SUV, pay for a college education, go on a world tour, or even make a down payment on your dream home. All from a single coin that most people would overlook without a second thought. So whether you're a passionate numismatist or just someone looking for the next big find, keep your eyes open for the 1973 Roosevelt one dime. It's more than just a coin. It's a symbol of history, a beacon of value, and a potential gold mine in your very own pocket. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next treasure hunting adventure. We've got plenty more amazing coins, rare finds, and million-dollar mysteries coming your way. And remember, every coin has a story, but some are worth a fortune. Will you be the next lucky finder of a $92,000 dime? Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep searching. Your treasure might be closer than you think. Back to the year 1994. The United States Mint in Philadelphia was producing Roosevelt dimes in the millions. In fact, over 1.5 billion of these coins were struck that year. That's a massive number, which makes you wonder, how can one single dime from that huge production run possibly be worth nearly $92,000? The answer lies in history, minting errors, rarity, and collector demand. The Roosevelt dime, which has been in circulation since 1946, was designed to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. His portrait on the obverse was meant to reflect the nation's gratitude for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and also for his founding support of the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio. The Roosevelt dime replaced the Mercury dime, and quickly became a symbol of both strength and compassion. Its design, featuring Roosevelt's side profile, the word liberty, the iconic phrase "In God We Trust," and the mint mark just above the date, became a familiar sight in every American's pocket. Now back to the 1994 P. Roosevelt dime. The letter P stands for the Philadelphia Mint. Although most of the 1994 dimes were struck flawlessly and used in everyday transactions, a select few were different. These were either struck with rare minting errors, created under special conditions, or preserved in such pristine condition that they became highly desirable among collectors. Some of these dimes never even entered circulation. They remained untouched, unhandled, free of scratches or nicks, and over the years, their rarity and flawless state have caused their value to skyrocket. The real stars among the 1994 P dimes are those graded as MS-68 and higher. MS stands for mint state, and coins graded at this level are virtually perfect. Out of over 1 billion minted, only a tiny handful can reach that grading tier. In fact, even finding a coin in MS-67 condition is incredibly rare. For a dime to be worth $92,000, it must possess not only a near-perfect surface and strike, but also some kind of exceptional feature, like a double die off-center strike or other striking anomaly. Sometimes, coins with full torch lines on the reverse, known as full bands, also dramatically increase in value. These features mean the coin was struck with an especially crisp and clean die, leading to a beautifully detailed result. Let's talk about a few notable examples. One of the highest auction records for a 1994 P. Roosevelt dime came when a collector submitted an untouched dime for certification. Upon grading, the coin received an MS-68 FB designation. Because of its rarity, collectors entered bidding wars and eventually the coin sold for over $92,000. That's 920,000 times its face value. Imagine, a coin worth 10 cents suddenly transforming into a financial treasure just because of its condition and rarity. But how can you know if your 1994 P. Roosevelt dime is valuable? Start by checking its condition. Is it shiny and bright with no visible scratches, wear, or marks? Does it look like it just came from the mint? Next, look at the details. Examine the bands on the torch on the reverse side. If all the lines are crisp and complete, you may have what is called full bands, a crucial factor in high-value Roosevelt dimes. Also, consider checking for any unusual features. Double die errors, misstrikes, or off-center strikes can significantly boost a coin's value. One of the most intriguing things about modern coin collecting is that valuable treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. Unlike ancient or colonial coins, which are rare simply due to age, coins like the 1994 P. Roosevelt dime prove that even recent coins can be incredibly valuable if they meet the right conditions. This is what keeps coin collectors constantly searching through pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, and family collections. The thrill of the hunt is very real. Today's collectors are more passionate than ever. Social media platforms and YouTube channels have exploded with coin hunting content. Videos about valuable coins often go viral, showing everyday people discovering dimes, nickels, and pennies worth thousands. This has created a surge in interest for modern coins, particularly those from the 1990s, like the 1994 P dime. The rise in popularity has also increased demand, and when demand meets rarity, prices soar. So while most 1994 P dimes are still only worth 10 cents, that special one, that flawless, mint-fresh, ultra-rare specimen can break records. The numismatic community continues to pay close attention to Roosevelt dimes, especially those with the P mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint is notorious for certain striking errors and die varieties, making coins from this facility a hotspot for collectors. In fact, new discoveries are being made every year. A previously unknown variety can emerge from a private collection or a coin roll search, changing the value landscape overnight. So holding on to that 1994 P dime, or better yet, submitting it to a professional grading service could be your ticket to uncovering a fortune. Even if your coin isn't worth $92,000, other grades can still hold value. A 1994 P. Roosevelt dime in MS-65 condition can fetch around $25 to $100, depending on its luster and sharpness. MS-66 and MS-67 coins rise in value, and if they include full bands, that value can double or triple. Some error coins, like those with clipped planchets or die breaks, also bring in hundreds or even thousands at auction. These small imperfections, often overlooked during production, can become the key to unlocking tremendous value. It's also important to consider how to store and protect your coin if you suspect it might be valuable. Never clean it. Cleaning can actually reduce a coin's grade and hurt its value. Instead, place it in a coin flip, a plastic holder, or a capsule to protect it from further wear. When ready, send it to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Their experts will carefully evaluate your coin, and their certification will give buyers confidence, which often translates to higher prices when it's time to sell. So next time you come across a Roosevelt dime, especially one from 1994 with AP mint mark, don't just toss it into your change jar. Examine it closely, because in this age of hidden treasures and viral coin finds, your ordinary-looking dime could be the next big story. And if it turns out you're holding that pristine $92,000 Roosevelt dime, well, let's just say your pocket change might be a lot more valuable than you ever imagined. From a piece of everyday currency to a collector's prize, the journey of the 1994 P. Roosevelt dime is a perfect reminder that history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn 10 cents into a small fortune. Keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and who knows, you might just uncover the next legendary dime worth tens of thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most underrated but shockingly valuable coins you might just have sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, hidden in your drawer, or quietly tucked away in your old coin jar. We're talking about the incredible, the mysterious, and now extremely valuable 2004 P. Roosevelt one dime, proudly carrying the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." A coin that could potentially be worth an astonishing $92,000 in today's rare coin market. Yes, you heard that right. $92,000 for just one dime. Now let's go on a journey back in time to understand the history, significance, and jaw-dropping value of this coin. Because trust me, this is not just any ordinary 10-cent piece. This is a piece of American history, a symbol of numismatic rarity, and possibly one of the most surprising treasures that coin collectors are desperately hunting for in 2025. The story of the Roosevelt dime began in 1946, shortly after the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was a towering figure in American history, leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II. Due to his instrumental role in founding the March of Dimes to fight polio, a disease he himself battled, it was deemed fitting that his image would replace the Mercury dime and become the face of the 10-cent coin. Since 1946, the Roosevelt dime has been in continuous production, making it a familiar sight in the hands of millions of Americans. But not all Roosevelt dimes are created equal. Fast forward to the year 2004. The Philadelphia Mint was busy striking coins for circulation, including the Roosevelt dime. The 2004 P. Roosevelt dime was supposed to be just another year of regular mintage. Tens of millions of these coins were produced for circulation. But somewhere, somehow, a small number of these dimes emerged with rare die varieties, striking errors, off-center prints, and extreme mint condition grades that would change their destiny forever. These are not just coins, they are treasures. One particular 2004 P. Roosevelt dime made headlines across the numismatic community when it sold for a jaw-dropping $92,000 at a rare coin auction. So what makes this particular dime so valuable? It's a combination of rarity, condition, and error, a perfect storm that turns an ordinary coin into an extraordinary fortune. Some of the known errors found on the 2004 P dimes include double die obverse errors, which means the front of the coin appears to have duplicate or shadowed letters and numbers due to a mistake in the minting process. These double die errors are incredibly rare and instantly increase a coin's value in the collector market. Imagine looking at a dime and seeing the word liberty or the phrase "In God We Trust" appearing slightly doubled or misaligned. That's a potential jackpot. Another major error type that has driven values through the roof is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly centered in the minting press, causing the image to be struck partially off the coin's surface. These errors are visually dramatic and highly desirable among collectors. But error alone isn't enough to command tens of thousands of dollars. The condition of the coin plays a major role. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin in mint state. A 2004 P Roosevelt dime that earns a grade of MS 67 or higher from professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch huge premiums. The number of surviving 2004 P dimes in such high condition is extremely limited, and collectors are always willing to pay more for perfection. Combine that with a striking error, and you've got the recipe for a five-figure payday. But wait, it gets even more fascinating. Some 2004 P Roosevelt dimes have been discovered with full torch details, what experts refer to as full bands or full torch varieties. This means the torch on the reverse side of the coin shows complete, well-defined vertical and horizontal bands, a sign of a sharp, high-quality strike. Full bands coins are significantly more valuable and are often submitted to grading companies in hopes of fetching top-dollar result. If you're lucky enough to find a 2004 P Roosevelt dime with full bands and it's in mint state, it's time to celebrate. You might be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. So how can you tell if your 2004 P Roosevelt dime is valuable? First, grab a magnifying glass and inspect it closely. Look for any signs of doubling on the lettering, especially around Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 2004. Examine the edges of the coin for any unusual thickness or misalignment. Check the reverse side of the coin, the side with the torch, and look for sharp, detailed lines and fully separated bands. If anything looks out of the ordinary or exceptionally crisp, you might just have a rare variety in your hand. And if your dime looks like it's never been circulated, smooth luster, no scratches, and flawless fields, you definitely need to get it professionally graded. Now let's talk about the market. The rare coin market in 2025 is hotter than ever. Collectors, investors, and even casual hobbyists are scouring flea markets, estate sales, and old change jars to uncover hidden gems. With the economy uncertain and alternative investments on the rise, rare coins have become a stable and exciting option for collectors and investors alike. A coin like the 2004 P Roosevelt dime with the right error, in pristine condition, has exploded in value. Just a few years ago, this coin might have fetched a few $100s. Today, it's worth as much as a luxury car or a house deposit. And demand keeps growing. One verified auction listing reported a 2004 P Roosevelt dime in mint state with a rare strike-through error that sold for $75,000, while another collector privately sold a double-die obverse version for over $92,000. These aren't isolated events. These are part of a growing trend where common-looking coins are turning into life-changing financial surprises. So before you spend that dime, think twice. Take the time to look at your change. Check old coin rolls from the bank. Search through forgotten boxes in your garage or attic. You never know, you might stumble across a coin that looks like any other but is actually worth a fortune. Imagine the shock and joy of discovering that your humble 2004 P Roosevelt dime is actually worth more than your car, more than your rent for an entire year, or more than your dream vacation. This is not a drill. This is not a myth. The 2004 P Roosevelt dime is real, it's circulating, and some of them are worth up to $92,000. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a total beginner, now is the perfect time to dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Educate yourself, get familiar with coin grading terms, and most importantly, always check your change. You never know what history, what rarity, and what unbelievable value might be hiding in your hand. This tiny coin, often overlooked and casually tossed aside, might just be your golden ticket. A 2004 Roosevelt dime, carrying liberty and the words "In God We Trust," could be the most valuable 10 cents you ever hold. So stay curious, keep hunting, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends. Because someone out there might just have a fortune sitting in their pocket and not even know it. The hunt for the $92,000 dime is on. Are you ready to find it? Keep watching, because on this channel, your next coin could be worth more than you ever imagined.